Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, so this is just kind of the background that Mayor gave just a minute ago. One of the things I wanted to touch on was that on July 8th at the RDA meeting, the board allocated about 2.5 million towards the city's destination development project. That project originally had 6 projects in it. Because of the decrease in funding, we received about 65% of those funds. We're only going to be able to do 3 with READI funds. The others may be completed with other allocations from either the city or private investment.
Yeah, I'll just mention real quickly that the methodology there was approximately 85 million or so of applications as they went through the final scoring process for $50 million of funding. So that's where the ratio of about 65% funding methodology came about. There was significant demand all across the state. I believe there was approximately 17 regions statewide that applied for a share of the $500 million. Maximum award that any region could receive was $50 million. I was on the state presentation committee, and we were one of only 5 regions out of 17 across the state that received the maximum award of $50 million. And so that's why what essentially it's created was enough funding to do 2 to 3 of our 6 Destination Madison projects. Our workforce plan did not receive any funding because these were regionally focused type projects. However, we've already broken ground on 2 major workforce development plan funding with approximately $100 million of new investment up there on the hilltop. So now we're going to give you an overview of the Destination Madison plan.
So our first project is to take the recently acquired properties along the 421 Harrison Street Bridge approach to transform this blighted area that has a vacant tattoo parlor, vacant old gas stations, and transform them into really the gateway that Madison and the state of Indiana deserves off of our bridge. It's going to include several green spaces, you can see there, as well as parking. I've got a close up here. So the parking is going to be available. We figured people may want to park there in order to walk across the bridge, or if you're coming across the bridge, you see the nice gateway feature, you think, oh, I'm going to stop and take a picture. Then they'll have a space to do that, and it's going to include some spots for golf carts as well. That little plaza there has some Madison signage, the big signs that are in front of the comfort station that has the map, the different amenities. We're going to have one of those there, as well as bike racks and drinking fountains. If you've seen in the paper, we recently announced 2 projects that are going to bid. This is one of those. So we'll have our pre-bid meeting on August 8th with any contractors who are interested on site to walk through the project with the design team. And then at your September 6th meeting, we'll open those bids with the intention of awarding to the lowest bidder. That will get the project kicked off. Plans to award the contracts at your September 19th meeting, with construction starting October 1st. And then as long as everything goes well, that facility should be up and running by May 2023.
I think the gateway enhancement is a complement to all the work that's been done on the east end, all the new investment. And the reason the gateway is so critical is it also is accessible to the riverfront and to JC/Damon Welch Park below it. So there's a great tie-in to everything that's happening down there on the east end, both on the riverfront and up at grade level at Harrison Street.
Nicole, that project doesn't include restrooms, is that correct?
Correct, yes. We originally had anticipated restoring that tattoo parlor building into restrooms, but when we got the estimates for construction back from the design team, we felt that those funds would be better used to put restrooms in J.C. Park, closer to some of those amenities. So this is the budget that we've received for just the Gateway Park improvement. You'll see design fees is $68,000. That's just for the park itself, and then acquisition cost is the cost of the obtaining those 3 parcels from private owners. The current construction cost that we received from the design team is $1.3 million. Of that, the city's not gonna have any funds into construction costs. That's where our READI dollars are gonna go to. And that will open up the city in order to give, local funds to build that, restroom building in J.C. Park. The second project we have for our Destination Madison plan is the Mulberry Street Arts Corridor Parking Lot Enhancement Project. This is right next to the new kindness mural done by the Arts Alliance. And it's going to open up the kindness mural. Right now you've got parking right in front of it, a lot of trees. And we're going to transform that into a nice little seating area, gathering space, and really give the kindness mural the respect it deserves. It'll also open up so people can stand on the plaza and take selfies if they choose to with the kindness mural.
And that's diagonal to the grocery store
Yes.
market project as well. So there's a tremendous benefit to that whole corridor that's happening there all the way over to West Street, candidly.
Yeah, and the one thing that these 2 renderings don't show is we're also going to be adding parking for electric vehicles. So we'll have a charging stand in this parking lot, and I believe there's going to be 2 or 4 spaces.
I think it's two there and 1 at the Gateway.
Nicole, question on the parking,
Sure.
electric parking. How are those charged? I mean,
Electricity.
I mean, how does the person, do they have to pay for that, or city providing the electricity?
We are still negotiating that. We do have a donor who's willing to pay for the installation of a free charger, but those can get quite costly for the city, so we're still negotiating that.
Our preference is to, go ahead, Joe, you're
I
going to.
believe as of July 1st, legislation was passed that you can charge.
Yes, our preference is to charge, particularly with the cost of energy now. I mean, if that was,
Well, I'm not familiar with how those services are provided, in the big cities, and, is it something like the parking meters where, you put your debit card or your credit card in, and
Yeah.
Credit card.
It
So-
is.
so, okay, so.
Then in addition to the Mulberry Street parking lot improvements, we're also going to improve the Main Street Comfort Station lot. If you didn't know, that big gravel property behind the Comfort Station is actually a city owned parcel. And in order to improve it, we're going to stripe it, add plantings, add that connection to the Comfort Station that it doesn't currently have. And it's gonna be well lit from additional lighting from the Comfort Station directed into the parking lot.
you may recall when we did our parking plan, that was brought up because that's available parking in the main corridor where there's a lot of parking need, but it's not very organized, and it's just a gravel lot, and there's no real wayfinding area for it, so we'll be improving signage all across the city for the wayfinding to help improve parking management across town. But that's one we'll get some spaces from. That's much needed because our busiest lot is the one across the street from the Comfort Station on the north side of Main.
What's this provide, about 20 parking spaces,
I
16,
I believe it's 20
20.
and one handicap.
And you will not have any charging stations in any of these?
Not in this one, because we have the 2 spaces across the street in the Main Street lot. But the other 2 parking lots will have the added. And this project has the same timeline as the previous one. Pre-bid on-site August 8th with bid openings September 6th. Plan to have construction start October 1st and then completed, as long as everything goes well, by May 1st.
You know, the emphasis behind READI was really to be ready with shovel-ready projects that were beyond the conceptual stage. And I think that's why our Southern Indiana RDA performed so well in the statewide competition for funds, was because a lot of the projects that were distilled down into the master RDA plan were projects that could begin quickly. These are funded with state receipt of ARPA funds, which also have particular timetables attached to them for committing the funds and actually dispersing the funds. And so we're complying with all that in our subrecipient agreements.
So this project budget is a little lower. It's about $900,000. That is also going to be covered fully by READI. So the city's funds, our share is just the $58,000 in design cost. And then, like I mentioned, our plan is 6 projects. So these are the other 3 that were not included in those 2. The music amphitheater is going to receive READI funds. We just don't know how much yet, because it will depend on how much our bids come back for the other 2 projects. If there's money left over, which we anticipate, that will go towards the Music City Amphitheater and parking lot project. Our other 2 projects included in this are the Super Overlook and Ohio Theater, and then the 6th one was the Madison Coal redevelopment project, which isn't listed on here.
And in speaking with Governor Holcomb, the plans are shaping up already for a potential second round of READI grant funding in the 2023 session. So while there were a lot of projects that didn't get funded, that applied, I mean, we were fortunate enough to get $2.6 million. Hanover College received $5.9 million for their vet tech clinic in partnership with Ivy Tech. There were literally hundreds of other projects statewide that didn't get funded, and the plan is to get out of the ground with the first $500 million statewide, and then Governor Holcomb's intentions are to approach State Assembly for additional funding for READI, because it's been very, very successful.
That's the update I have for you, and I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Exciting stuff. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, thank you.
Speaking of exciting stuff, Nicholas, would you like to come to the podium, introduce yourself, and talk about JonesStock Music Fest?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Nicholas Schaefer, and we are essentially having a company picnic on Saturday, August 13th. We've titled JonesStock, so kind of funny. But
Is there a correlation to anything there?
so we're going to have a couple of opening acts with just some associates from Edward Jones that play guitar, sing on the side, and then we're going to have Henry Lee Summer come and do a show on the city stage for us at Bicentennial Park.
First, let me say thank you for preparing all of the event overview. Very well organized. So I've just got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
No street closures requested for this event? It's because it's all contained inside Bicentennial?
Correct.
How will you separate Bicentennial, or do you have plans to separate Bicentennial, from Vaughn Drive for park entrance?
We've requested city barricades for
Okay,
that.
okay.
So if folks want to come down, set lawn chairs around the fence and listen to the music,
Have at it.
they're welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do you know who Henry Lee Summer is?
I did have to use Google for that.
Oh, my gosh. Big Hoosier star. Hoosier music star. I'm sure you've never heard of him, have you?
He was big with Mellencamp, from what
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand, so.
Yeah.
That's the connection we have. We've got, Seymour's in our region, so we've got some connections with those guys up there, and
Fantastic musical choice for your event. The map that you provided with regards to the locations for the various different things inside the footprint were fantastic. Again, I compliment you on the event running sheet and all the information you provided with regards to the event itself. And you have already been coordinating, I believe, with our street department for the barricades, the parks department for the facility usage and so forth, Nicholas?
correct.
How many volunteers do you expect to have on site for the event?
I would say between 10 and 15.
Okay.
roughly.
It's a good ratio for the number of guests you're
Yeah.
expecting. Board, what questions did you have for Nicholas? I thought the plan was excellent, candidly. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's a nice plan. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Public being invited down to listen to music, that's always good. With that, I mean, I'll make a motion, we approve the JonesStock Music Fest
Okay.
first, and I hope many for 2022.
Yeah.
I will second that. Any discussion, comments or questions? Dave?
Yeah.
Comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much, Nicholas.
Thank you.
Excellent. Wow. Okay, moving on, we have the Ribberfest Event Plan. I believe we had already approved the street closure, Resolution 2022-16. Hi,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good.
Glad to see you again.
Aaron, introduce yourself to your fans across the community.
Sure, I am Erin Kendall. I am the event coordinator for Ribberfest and Nights Before Christmas.
This one will be a little bit more complicated because unlike JonesStock, this is open to the public and you're probably expecting several thousands of guests coming into Madison for the 20th year,
It's our 20th anniversary. this
20th
year, yes.
anniversary of Ribberfest. So we've already approved street closure. Maybe walk us through particularly the event running sheet and the footprint and traffic management plans. I think those are probably the biggest things, and then we'll open it up to any questions we might have.
All right. So, let me get to my street closures. We had requested street closures. Part of that is soft closures, part of them are hard closures from August 15th to August 22nd. The actual event is taking place on August 19th and 20th. We do try to coordinate to keep the streets open as often as possible until we reach those points where it's, for safety measures, we do have to close them down. Our event footprint goes from Mill Street on Vaughn Drive all the way down to Jefferson Street. We do use the parking lot that is on the corner of Jefferson and Vaughn Drive, on the east side there. And then we go up to about First Street on most of those streets. So that's kind of our location. Bicentennial Park area, that is our blues area where we're having all of the blues festival happening. We also have the Kansas City barbecue competition, which is happening more on Vaughn Drive and Broadway and then further west.
Okay.
The backyard barbecue, which is our amateur portion, goes from West Street down Vaughn Drive to Jefferson. With that being said,
Okay.
all of our competitors are pre-registered, so we already have all their registration information. We have vendors that are located on the south side of Bicentennial Park. Again, we have all their information as well, so we coordinate the times to kind of stagger everybody to come in.
So Aaron, on that note, the competitors arrive on Thursday. And vendors also arrive on Thursday at staggered time, so you've
Correct.
coordinated in advance with them, assuming a time in order to arrive? Okay,
Yes, yes. So, the KCBS teams, they come in kind of on staggered times on Thursday from 10 to 12:30, 12:30 to 3, and then 3 to 5. And then on Friday, they come in from 9 to 11:30, 11:30 to 2, and 2 to 4. So kind of segregated out. We would like about 50 teams. We're getting close to that. So that's a good number for us, but that's kind of the number you're looking
Great.
at. They usually come in with RVs, rigs, some of them. So, and we have all those, we know what their measurements are and everything like that.
And you're only gonna have 3 days of just real hard closures on Vaughn Drive there.
Correct. Sunday we get in there, we get really busy, get everything knocked out and done, so.
Appreciate that. You know, such a gathering place anymore down along the river. It's nice to keep it open as much as we can.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And then, our vendors come in, from 8 to 12 and 12 to 5.
I think the event timeline that you prepared was very good. And overall, I think this just shows the complexity of putting on a festival of this size with the various different facilities and street closures. Fortunately, the footprint of the street closure is not that big, so most of the activity is happening right around Bicentennial, correct?
That's correct.
And you've already met with staff with regards to coordination of the services and traffic management. Have you been able to meet with Chief Wallace yet relative to the traffic management side of things there?
I have not met with Chief Wallace just yet. We
Okay.
are getting in. I'm actually setting up that meeting right after this one. I've been speaking with Jim Bartlett, who is our head of operations with Ribberfest.
Okay.
I have been in contact with Major McKay and kind of talked with him a little bit about our golf carts and such, but they're aware of the event, so we're trying to tie all that down too, just to make sure we get everybody out safely.
Okay, and the golf carts are only allowed inside the footprint for volunteers?
For volunteers in specific areas, primarily where the vendors are at, so south of Bicentennial Park, it's very restricted even with our committee chairs. It's basically for like ICE, EMS, those kinds of things. And then on the KCBS side, we do have some teams that have carts.
Okay.
So we have information on all of them. They're supposed to be getting with me to make sure that they have a tag so we can identify everybody that's in there.
Okay,
And you're gonna be using off-duty police part of the security?
Yes. Mhm.
the main gate into the event, is it the West and First Street? Area?
The main gate is West and Vaughn.
Oh, West and Vaughn, okay, but you can still come down West Street and
Yeah,
enter
we
that way?
have convenient gates that are halfway up on both sides, on West and on Central.
Okay, okay,
It's not gonna be, I mean, Chillbillies will be open down to their parking lot so they can still,
Absolutely. We make some tight coordination there. We have dumpsters that are located right behind him, so we always make sure that we have signage up so patrons know that they are open and can still get into there as well.
okay. And I think you had mentioned this before when we approved the street closure. Relative to Bicentennial itself, we'll have the normal fence around the perimeter, but the northern part of Bicentennial, where the parking is on First Street, are you using that for resident parking off of Central, is that correct?
So yes, just on what would that be, the south side of First Street, right up against, that is
Right.
for Central. We deliver letters to each of those residents and make sure that they have a parking pass so they can get in there. And then they have our contact information if they have any issues.
Okay, and was there a golf cart staging area? Are you doing that on Central?
No, so the golf cart parking area, we're allowing people to have golf cart parking. It is paid parking, but it's going to be down at the bottom of Jefferson and Vaughn Drive on the east side in that parking lot, so we can check people in, and then we have, kind of shuttles with our golf cart committee that brings people to the top of Bicentennial and to the bottom of Bicentennial.
Okay, and so what is Central Street used for?
Central is our emergency entrance primarily, and for our acts to come through so we can get people in and out quickly. So we have that closed down so we can get our all the blues people down, and then any kind of operations kind of stuff that we still need to do during the event.
I mean, is that part of the footprint area where you need a wristband to get in there on Central? Because you have all the homes there on the west side of Bicentennial.
No, you don't have to have a wristband to get on Central, but there's a gate down at the bottom of that goes right into the parking lot. We do have that gated and locked with a security guard standing there, so you do have to have a wristband to get into
Okay.
that area. And
Okay.
it's VIP access only, so it's not just general public cannot enter there.
Okay, okay. And no screening out Bicentennial with regards to the dark screen on the fencing? Okay. Board, what other questions do you have? Again, the key, as we talked about the other day, and with Chief Wallace, is also managing the out-of-footprint impact, particularly traffic management downtown as people are leaving on Friday and Saturday nights, because you'll probably have a lot of people, in cars leaving, cars or golf carts leaving the venue Friday and Saturday night. So that'll be important to make sure that the chief has enough staff for proper traffic management like we did for Regatta, and direct the traffic accordingly.
That is top priority on my meeting with them, just to make sure
Gotcha.
that we haven't typically had issues in the past, just where everybody are, where they're parked at, and a lot of people are staying in the hotels now in the area as well, so.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely going to make sure that that's a point that's covered.
And if anyone has been interested or had not been able to see Trombone Shorty, who's the headliner on Saturday night, you're in for a treat.
Oh, yeah. And Samantha Fish on Friday night.
What's that?
And Samantha Fish on
And
Friday night.
oh, she's great, too.
Oh, yeah.
Any comments or questions for Aaron? No. I'll move that we approve the 2022 event plan for Madison Ribberfest, the 20th anniversary of the Ribberfest, as presented.
I'll second the mayor's motion.
Comments or questions? Dave?
No.
Anyone from the audience? We'll just continue to follow up with Chief Wallace, Aaron, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much for all the work that went into this.
Thank you so much. If you guys have any other
It'll be
questions,
easier
please let
next
us know.
year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks, have a great day.
Thank you. Board, I think that's it for new business. We'll move on to claims.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I'll second David's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. I'll give a quick update. First, I want to thank Nicole for the presentation on READI. That's a fantastic achievement for the city. A lot of work went into that. And then, of course, the execution of the plan is critical too, which $2.6 million that'll allow us to do, $3.5 to $4 million worth of beautification, infrastructure improvements downtown, and just continuing our investment in investing in the city. The Gateway and the Arts Corridor, that will lead to additional investment, as we talked about with the grocery store. And then at the amphitheater, there are two other major initiatives underway as well. One is our clean drinking water project. Those rates went into effect on July the 15th. So we're continuing to design out that project and work with our consultants and engineers to finish the scope of work for that, as well as manage through the state revolving fund through IFA with regards to the financing for that project. So there's still quite a bit outstanding to do on the clean drinking water project. And as you know, we're also in litigation with 3 county water resellers over our approved rates for that project. So we're working through that as well. And then the other thing that I want to mention too is Crystal Beach. As you know, we have unfortunately had to not have a swimming season for 2022 while we bifurcate the Crystal Beach project into a pool house project and then a pool project. We are continuing to work on designing, engineering, and costing out improvements to the pool to remediate unsafe conditions that have become prevalent with the swimming pool. And looking at, a lot of work that's occurred with my predecessors really over the last course of the 25 or 30 years. I don't believe there's a single mayor who hasn't tried to bring solutions to Crystal Beach, and we are the administration that is fortunate enough now to be dealing with a major restoration of the pool at a time where it is absolutely at the end of its useful life. So we're looking for solutions, and we'll bring those to the public here in very short order on a new plan for Crystal Beach's 2023 swim season. We are happy to report, though, that the pool house restoration project is fully underway and will be completed in September. We're still facing some supply chain issues with a few of the things related to that project, but it's looking fantastic. And again, what will end up there is a pool house that'll have year-round use capability for the community, and then some new modern amenities with the pool itself as we figure out final design recommendations and a financing plan to deal with the multi-million-dollar costs associated with the Crystal Beach pool. Board, do you have anything you want to add?
No.
Move on to public comment. Before that, I'll just mention we do have city council meeting tomorrow night. And then we'll open it up to the floor. Anybody here would like to address Board of Public Works? I want to thank everybody for being here today. And our next meeting will be Monday, August the 15th. We'll have even more exciting news to report on August the 15th. Have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you.